In this video, traders, we're going to look at, are you overthinking your trading? Stay tuned. Hey guys, warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining me. All right, so this is a question, actually a comment on one of the videos I did let me see, this is from Darth Roche. And Darth said, hey, I've been trading, or I've been at it for 3 years, and finally things are falling into place. No longer trying to make money, it's about waiting for the moment to getting and defining loss. Thumbs up from me for that. I'm also journaling my trades, good. Following around 100 rules, well, it's a lot of rules. But after reviewing my trades from last year, it seems my knowledge and confidence has increased about the markets, but my entries have gotten really bad. I used to get pin bar entries when I didn't know what I was doing, as opposed to getting stopped out when I know what I'm doing. How do I explain that? Your thoughts are most welcome. Appreciate the question. That is a great question. And I think it comes back down to overthinking your trading. Because when we are beginning as traders, we don't know what we're doing, right? We have no idea. And there's, what does it say? It says unconsciously incompetent, or whatever they call it. There's kind of multiple stages. And we just kind of have a little stab at what we're doing, we don't know what's going on, and we seem to get good results. But then as we start to get more knowledge about the markets, we start to incorporate stop losses, we start to incorporate this, we start to incorporate that, we start to do the other. And actually 100 rules, assuming it's 100 rules, not a typo, that's an awful lot of rules to be sticking to. And my guess is that as you've kind of increased your knowledge as a trader, you've added more rules, and you've heard people say, oh, you should do this, you should do this, you should do that, you should do the other. And all of a sudden now things are so restrictive for you, whereas before you were like, hey, I see a pin bar, I'm going to take it. Now at the end of the day, there's a couple of things that you can do, and guys, I've been through this before, where you're starting out, you're thinking, hey, this is great, and then you kind of add all these choke points on, and then you struggle, and you have to kind of release things a little bit. You have to at some point say, it doesn't really matter what I'm trading, how I'm trading it, as long as I'm keeping the risk managed in some way. And this is why kind of at the end of most of my videos, guys, I know you laugh about it, I'm always saying, hey, keep the risk managed, because it doesn't matter whether you're trading the price action type trade, price action type setup, whether you're trading a fundamental trade, whether you're trading pure technicals, whether you're trading with, whatever, as long as you have the ability to cap the risk on it, that is all that matters. The rest of it kind of will fall into place. And so if you go back and look at some of the trades you took in your early days and look at the commonality amongst those. So go back at those pin bar trades that you talk about and say, hey, what was good about those? Perhaps you were a little bit wider with your stop because you thought that was the right thing to do, a little bit smaller size. Perhaps you've increased your size, which made you a little bit want to tighten the stop up, and that tightening the stop up hasn't given the stuff enough room. There's all sorts of reasons why that could be the case. Perhaps the market conditions have changed. Perhaps that setup has changed and is not quite as good as it was before. Perhaps you need to tweak and adjust it. So there's a kind of operational side of it to look at. Hey, how were my setups back then? But going on to the overthinking is that if you just literally pare back some of those rules, if it is 100, pare them right back. You don't need so many. The primary one is to manage the risk. The number one rule should be, hey, this is how much I'm prepared to risk in the week or the day, whatever time frame you're trading. This is how much I'm prepared to risk per trade. This is the setup that I'm taking. After that, you can add little rules that help you stick to those. You've got your primary broad rules, which are risk management, and then because you might find you break those, you've got other little rules that help you stick to the discipline of only taking this trade, not taking that setup, making sure I'm not over trading, making sure I'm doing this. Those are kind of secondary that help support the primary rules. But the primary rules should be few. It's just risk management. Hey, this is the strategy I'm taking, this is the risk I'm taking. And pulling things back to basics. So in your example, say, okay, what do I need to trade with pin bars? What am I actually looking for when I'm trading pin bars? These are the markets that I'm looking for. This is the time frame that I'm looking for it on. This is the entry. This is the filter criteria. I have a filtering process that brings the trades into my kind of sphere, if you like, that I'm monitoring, and then a trigger, which means that I'm actually placing risk on the trade. I think that's great. Even if you don't use price action, I think that's a great way of looking at it. Have that process, and then go, right, this is when I'll take the trade, this is what I'll take the trade on, this is how much risk I'll take, and just keep doing that. Go back to basics a little bit. Try not to overcomplicate it with all the information that you've heard, which is all good information, but it just can be too much. You're overthinking it. You're like, oh, maybe I need this indicator to line up. Maybe I should be doing this between certain hours of the day. Maybe I shouldn't be trading this. Maybe I should be trading that. And you kind of get caught up in strict rules, and you end up being like a bound trader. You're there restricted, and then when you do step out, it doesn't work because you've kind of stepped out thinking it should work, and you get frustrated by it. Give yourself a bit more freedom, give yourself a bit more flexibility. Don't allow the flexibility to come in when it comes with risk. Keep that risk capped, but give yourself the freedom to be able to do some more things. Have the stop a bit wider with a slightly less position size. Take a few trades that aren't quite as really strict as you've got, but just be broad with it. It's a pin bar on a resistance level, on a support level, should I say, on a daily time frame, and I'm gonna risk X. That's it. Simple rules. Go back to basics and see how you get on. There's obviously something there that's working, but overcomplicating it and overthinking it, you know, is sometimes the thing that really kind of restricts us and stops us getting any further. You know, digressing very slightly, it's why I'm a big advocate of having some intuition in your trades. I'm not a big person who says, hey, I must do this, 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 and this, and becoming a human algo. Yes, I've got boundaries which are very much around the risk perspective, and I've got a setups that I like very specifically, what I'm looking for, how I screen for them when I pull the trigger on them. But after that, I can do pretty much what I want. You know, I know that I'm not going to get too damaged as long as I stick to my risk rules. I give myself that freedom to be able to, you know, flex the intuition muscles as a trader. And so reduce the rules down, keep the risk management really, really ironclad. Don't go and let that go flexible, but give yourself a little bit of flexibility. Go back to kind of being the beginner trader and go, hey, it's got a pin bar, it's not perfect, it looks all right, the risk is all right, I'll take a stab at the trade. It's not going to go badly wrong for me, I've got the risk capped. And that might then unlock you going, okay, well actually I don't need 50 of these rules, I don't need 80 of these rules, I just need 3 primary rules and some other rules to back it up. Give myself a bit more freedom. As long as I've got the risk capped, things are going to be fine. Appreciate the question, and all your questions, guys, keep them coming. By the way, if you haven't checked out our channel sponsor, link in the description below. Okay, see you next one, bye bye.